I hear people complain frequently about feeling deprived. And a lot of the critics of OMAD talk about being deprived. And they say things like, well, I don't want to lose weight like that because it's going to make me feel deprived. Instead, I want something that's empowering, or I want something, in their minds, that is easier. Because to them, easier is akin to hacking something, which is a smarter way to go about things. But of course, reality sets in and the walls of reality come crashing down, and all of those delusions of grandeur fall away. The truth with OMAD is not that it's depriving. It's the exact opposite. It is the epitome of empowering, because you're taking what was destroying you and you're repurposing it to build you up. And you're segmenting it, and you get the same high from that of cleaning your house or reorganizing your storage cabinet to where you feel productive. And in fact, you are productive. So when you instead of going into your fridge and eating a bunch of leftovers, you segment them and you say, I'm going to have this today, this tomorrow, and this the day after. And you begin reconstructing your eating in a way that not only limits the eating, but your food tastes better, because what is less is more. It should be written in wisdom literature. Whereas if you're ravenous and you're eating, then what you're eating you don't appreciate as well. And you go throughout your life and you feel like you're not getting enough, and you keep going and trying to get things. But if you can be happy with less, then you solve the problem. Much the same way when you've been sitting in a hot car on a hot day for a little while, you get out and it feels cold. The outside heat, which is already oppressive, starts to feel really cold because you're compensating from where you were. Life is often about adjustment. Realizing you're in a society that is safe doesn't guarantee something bad won't happen to you, but it does mean that if you lived in another part of the world that was much less safe, the odds of you getting hurt would be a lot higher. You understand the point I'm trying to make. So being in control is its own reward, and it allows you to see things clearer, because when you say, I'm going to have this today, then you're not depriving yourself. You're just resegmenting the same way you reorganize a room, the same way you move the lights around and you move the bookshelf around and you move where you keep your shoes. And as a result of that, you find that you feel like you're in a whole new house. You feel like you're in a whole new room. It feels really good. But those are the things that are more satisfying, because you didn't buy a new house. You just went out and rearranged the room. Maybe you got a new steering wheel cover for your car. Your car feels like a whole new car. You driving around and got that rubbery grip on your hands. And you might as well have bought a new car, at least for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Well, when you're dealing with any form of addiction, you are seeking empowerment. That's what you're really seeking. But if you do it the wrong way, you're going to be confused as to what empowerment is. Empowerment is not getting what you want. Think about when you were a kid and if you had very loose parents. If you had loose enough parents, you would not be watching this video, because you wouldn't appreciate these principles. But if you respected your parents, which I would say most of us do, you realize your parents put you to bed at a certain time, and they quit arguing with you at a certain time. You respected them as parents for doing that, because that's what a parent does. If they treated you like a friend and they just hung out with you and they tried to be cool, then you didn't respect them as much, for completely obvious reasons. Because they, being as unwise as they were, they or you as kids, you realized what was out there. You understood this. So look at your life and all of the dieting you've done throughout your life, which is, I think if you're watching this, most of us have done dieting throughout most of our lives. You feel cheated. You feel cheated by every piece of crap workout machine you've ever bought that you thought would, sweat off the pounds. You feel cheated by all of the pills, the caffeine pills, the stuff that embarrassingly we've all bought before. And that's why you throw food away. You throw food away because you start buying a lot of what you, quote, should want. Someone talks you into eating a certain way. You go through your fridge, you buy a bunch of stuff, you figure out you don't want it. Whereas if you had just gone out and listened to your hunger and let hunger be a day-by-day thing, go out, eat what is there today. Eat what you have in your fridge. Go and use the things you have and not let the scarcity mindset reign, then you would be way ahead. That's why the best meals you've ever had are mono meals, or maybe just slightly over mono meals. You have 1 or 2 food items versus 5 or 6. Every one of us has done the same thing where we've gone about to try to cook a nice meal and it didn't turn out. Maybe you put too much salt, maybe not enough, maybe the fact that you didn't use enough Worcestershire didn't work out, or And so what did you do? You wanted to just start all over. That's the mindset. Why do you want to do what others tell you? Why can't you just rely on your own sense of intuition and saying, I know that the proper thing to do is to eat what we have right now? That's why monks, when they eat food, when they're offered food, they eat it, with very few exceptions. Because if you truly don't cling, if you're truly going to just receive what is out there and not cling, not be attached to something, then you don't really care what the food is. This, of course, dovetails to my last video about somewhat on this same subject. But understand, when you start to feel cheated, you're the only one who cheated you. Nobody cheated you. Selling you an exercise machine, you cannot blame the store. You cannot blame even the creepy salesperson that sold it to you and said that that's the solution to your problems. They're really fulfilling a program. Anyone who's selling, or that's the way business works. You don't go and blame the business. Hey, this person sold me alcohol, therefore, the fact that I'm addicted is their fault. It ultimately ends with you. You don't go and be like this guy years ago who sues McDonald's and says he's fat. It doesn't work like that. It's up to you to control yourself. And you're the common denominator in every problem you've ever had. Again, we're covering old territory I've done in older videos. Watch out for the dilemma that we're talking about, empowerment versus depravity. Real depravity is to gratify yourself whenever you want. And real empowerment is to split up what you have and make them last longer. So if you want to enjoy all of the things in your life, you will understand how to parse them out and say, this is good enough for today. This is good enough for tomorrow. Suddenly, all of the food that you thought that you would have been wasting, it goes to perfect use, even though you're eating less, because now each day has a meal and you don't have to think about it. That's empowering, because all of that energy that you used to use for food and thinking about food goes into other things, which is the other side of the coin. Now that you have all this energy, you can go out there and spend time walking. You can spend time running if you're able to. You can be busy on projects. You can be busy on work. And you can let your mind absorb the things that ultimately really matter. All right, have a good day.